Hey, is the frame good? Is the frame good on the shot? Is this good? Yeah, grab a gun real quick. I'm off to the side. A zone is right there, so I think we're good. We're fine, right? I have had this question about a lot of things. Why or where does it matter? Whether it's what I'm doing at work, what I'm doing at home, around the house, or in this instance, what I carry, what I compete with, where does it matter? And you see a lot of people talk about, specifically in carry pistols, when you're carrying a gun, it can never be too small, but when you're fighting with it, it can never be too big. That's directly from Clint Smith, the man himself. And so I wanted to test that. I wanted to test the difference between the ultimate small gun and a good defensive firearm and find exactly where my breaking points are in that system. So what I have today are two guns. We're going to try and use both. We're going to do the same drills with both and see where it's the same and where it's different. Because in my mind, I want to know if I'm going out and I'm running to Dollar General, I'm grabbing a smaller gun. I don't want to put my big main carry gun on. But is that going to make a big difference in a small altercation or a big altercation? Where do these things matter? And what do I need to know when I'm doing things about my life? So I have two guns. One I find as the minimum viable product for a carry pistol. The other I find as my favorite carry pistol, the best one that I've ever shot, the one that I carry most of the time, that I love the most. So starting with the minimum viable product, this is the Smith & Wesson J-Frame 638 revolver in .38 Special. This is, like I described it as, the minimum viable product for a carry gun. It's easily concealed. It carries 5 shots of .38 Special. You can put plus Ps through it if you feel spicy. It has a spurless hammer that you can cock if you, for some reason, decide you want to do that. I don't know why you would, but most of the time you're going to fire this thing double action only. This is bare bones. There is nothing fancy about this. It does what it is supposed to do, and nothing more, nothing less. With that, I want to contrast it with what I currently carry on a daily basis. And this is empty, first of all. A Beretta PX4 Storm compact carry. And this one specifically has been outfitted by Langdon Tactical Technologies. It's got the trigger job. It's got the optics cut. I'm running a Holosun 507K on it. I love this thing. I shoot it very well. It is ugly as sin, but it works every single time, and I love it. I shoot this thing in competition. I've shot it at Steel Challenge. I'm going to shoot it this weekend at a Prac-Tac match. We'll see how I do. Probably not well. But this is what I carry on a daily basis. So where is it going to matter? I'm going to run 4 or 5 drills, maybe 6 or 7. 4 or 5 drills, some from concealment, and we'll see what happens. I don't know where things are going to matter. I think if I had to make a prediction, up close, I don't think there's going to be much of a difference. I think within 5 yards, it's going to be almost the same amount of performance. Outside of 5 yards and follow-up shots is where I'm seeing most of the, or where I'm foreseeing most of the differences. All right, so first thing we're going to do, from concealment, draw to first shot time just to see what that's like for each gun. First one we're going to do is the J-frame, see how that works. I'm at about 3 yards, not really doing anything fancy. Got a regular, A-zone target right there. So let's see how it goes. Obviously from concealment. All right, so that was a 153 on the J-frame. I'm at the same mark, and let's see how this goes for the PX4. One, two, 4. All right, so those are my first shots of the day too. I haven't tried anything. J-frame hit right there. I obviously shot kind of early with the PX4, but both of those are A-zone hits. It's 3 yards. That's not really anything crazy. 154, 153, I think we said for the J-frame. 124 for the PX4. It's a difference. It is. I don't know how much of a difference it is. Someone is going to say, oh, that's the world, it's measured in seconds. Yeah, okay.
Well, that wasn't seconds,
that was
milliseconds.
Milliseconds. I don't know how different it's going to be, but we'll let you guys decide how different that was. Next, I want to try a modified bill drill. Bill drill is normally 6 rounds on the timer in the A zone. I'm going to do modified bill drill because it's a 5-shot revolver, and I don't feel like doing a reload in the middle of a bill drill. We can count that as a point against the J-frame, that it cannot do fun, cool guy stuff, but we're going to do 5 rounds, see how fast those 5 rounds go off from concealment at a target. Is that 7 yards for me?
Sure.
You played football.
Yeah.
You were in that movie, weren't you?
Yeah.
Modified bill drill from concealment, starting with the PX4 this time because I didn't feel like changing the gun again. I had a 3.52 on the PX4. Let's see how I do with this. All right. You can't tell the difference because 38 and 9 have the same diameter, but I did have that. So not great. So follow-up shots, like I thought, are a problem. Even within 7 yards. I mean, that's not terrible, but it's C. It's a C zone. That's not acceptable. I didn't even say how fast that was. 4.28, so a whole second slower than the PX4. Not super surprising. Again, follow-up shots are the problem, especially at a distance like this. All right, let's set up for the next one. A couple things that I wanted to talk about that I don't think I necessarily covered correctly, or maybe just didn't talk about when we were on the range. So first things first, this is not a review of the guns. Many other people have done those. If you want a good review of the PX4, 1911 Syndicate did a great video on it. So did Admin. So did a bunch of other people who are a lot better at that sort of thing. J-frame revolvers have been talked about for forever. There's not really a point in me doing a review of the guns. This is more of a review of myself, if that makes sense. I was wanting to see what considerations I would have to take if I were to carry those guns. So as I'm walking out the door and I'm looking at some of the guns in my ecosystem, to use a buzzword, what considerations do I have to make? And so I wanted to take the smallest possible option and my favorite option and directly contrast those. And that's also kind of why I dressed the way I did. I wasn't going for a tactical or anything like that. Look, I was wearing what I wear on most of the time. I wear a flannel button down or just a regular button down shirt, jeans, same jeans I'm wearing right now, and my boots. That's what I wear pretty much every day, no matter what. So now what we're gonna do, not gonna do from concealment anymore, just for sake of time and because I don't feel like taking guns on and off again. But what we see here, everything's in the A zone. So we're gonna do a 1R1 with both guns and see how we do in the A zone from about 7 to 10 yards. I have the magazine in my pocket, no mag carrier, no nothing like that. I wanna see under pressure in that situation how I could do with each gun. I already know this is gonna be faster, but I'm gonna do it anyways just to see how much faster and where it matters exactly. All right, so the Langdon. .587 with the Langdon. With the revolver, I don't like carrying the regular speed loaders in my pocket. If you've ever done it, it's like having a golf ball in your pocket all day long. It is very annoying. 5-shot revolver, I got 5 rounds loaded. I'm gonna do a full reload on this, not just one and slam it home, because I did a full reload on that. Feels only fair. Yeah. Yeah.
You're dying.
I'm dying.
You're dying.
14.57. You're dying is probably not a smart thing to scream at a live range, but you know what? We'll go with it. All right, no misses, but just a 14.57 on that. I'm going to try that again because I feel like that went terribly wrong. I really don't want to embarrass myself like that again. That was pretty bad. All right, so one of those was a C-zone hit, and
Did you time it?
yeah, it was 15.83.
That was worse than last time.
It was. It was.
Take that, Saddam.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do something else that this is better at. Got 2 targets down there. We got 5 rounds in the 5-shot revolver. We're gonna do 5 rounds from the PX4. Starting with the 5-shot revolver on the left side, we're gonna see, I'm gonna aim center mass on the A zone and see how I do. And I'm not going to cock the hammer. Starting with the revolver, 5 shots. This is not fast. I glossed over it when I was at the range and we were talking. But I said something to the effect of, I don't know why you would want to cock the hammer on a revolver. And, the obvious answer is, oh, you cock the hammer so you get a better single action shot. So looking at the revolver, first off, empty. To make it short and simple, I say you wouldn't want to cock the hammer on something like this, a snub-nose J-frame revolver that is a spurless hammer, because the likelihood of slipping off of this hammer is very high to start with. So if I'm on target and I'm like, oh, that's a little bit far away, I'm going to cock the hammer. Well, I'm just as likely to do something like that, which now in my brain, if I'm thinking, oh, I'm single action, I'm going to pull the trigger like it's single action and go like that, throwing it way off target. On older revolvers too, you might have timing issues if you half cock the hammer. So now you can see there's play in the cylinder. With this one, it's not as bad. It retimes the cylinder pretty well, but you do have that risk on certain older revolvers where it might throw it out of time, and now you have to fiddle with this to get it back in place. There's also the aspect you have to think about with the sights, where if you don't know, on a J-frame revolver like this, the sights are really just a trench along the top, almost like a vent rib on a shotgun. And then there's just this crude sight. I put a little dot of red nail polish on there so it pops a little more. That helps, but these sights are not meant for target shooting. These sights are meant for within 10 yards, hey, get off of me style of shooting. I would not recommend cocking the hammer unless it's some crazy situation. You can. It's your life. You do what you want to do. But shooting these things double action is what they're meant for, and you can tell. I mean, a lot of them now don't even have a spurless hammer. They just have no hammer at all. They have that little U-notch right there where everything is internal. Some of them do have spurred hammers. Those are much easier to cock. I would be much more comfortable doing that. But on something like this, I would steer away from trying to cock the hammer because there's so many downsides to doing that compared to the upside of maybe you'll get a better shot. I would just say get better with the double action trigger pull instead of rely on maybe having to use a single action trigger pull to get a precise shot off. Right side, 5 shots with the Langdon. Is that 4 or 5?
5.
So we did shoot 6 from the Langdon, and I'm not sure which one is which. We didn't have a camera down here, but we got 3 in the A zone, 2 in the C zone, 1 line break. It could be worse. I feel like that's all right. I think that was my double action shot on the draw, and then the rest were the single action up here. I don't know. The first one just felt different to me. Either way, from what? How far is that? 40 yards?
Yes.
30 yards. We'll see. We'll undercut it. From 30 yards, I feel like that's reasonable offhand with a pistol. What is unreasonable is the performance with the J frame with 1 round on target in the D zone. Again, at the beginning of this, I said distance and follow-up shots were going to be the issue. And as shown before, follow-up shots are an issue, and as shown now, distance, especially double action on a small frame revolver, is a major issue. There's no real function to this. This is just because I wanted to see if I could do it. We got 2 targets set up. I'm not necessarily concealed, but I'm going to draw the pistol, and we'll see if you know what to call this drill. We'll leave that for the people in the comments, not necessarily me naming it. If you know, you know. All right. PX4, 2.45 seconds, 2 in the A zone, 2C, 1B. I think that's good, especially because I found a random piece of horn today. So we're going to shoot that later and see what happens. This was just on the ground. I don't think any problems ever happened from that. 5 rounds on target. Again, let's see how this goes. Cut. So that's the end of the video, guys. Don't look. I got 1 headshot. Well, no, no, that is a new headshot. That wasn't supposed to be a headshot. But don't look at that. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Guys, it's fun to shoot guns. It's fun. Don't look at that. It's fun to have fun. Get out there and train. Figure out what your limits are. I certainly found mine today. And really, you can blame the guns all you want, but really, if you're not training with it, if you're not using it, then you're not going to be able to perform with it. But yeah, get out there, train, have fun, get some good friends. Not med school failure. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this. I have not really done anything like this before, and just kind of doing it for fun, you know, hanging out with friends and trying this out. So I hope that maybe you got something from this, or at the very least you were able to watch something on your lunch break at work, or you know, just have a good time. And thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll have some more videos out soon, and we'll see you next time.